Hello! So in this explainer, we're going to talk about something I think almost everyone has felt. We're calling it the missing step. That really frustrating gap between having a big, important insight and actually seeing your life change because of it.
You know the feeling, right? You have that breakthrough moment, maybe in therapy or reading a book, or just thinking late at night. Everything clicks. You see things with this incredible new clarity, and you just know what needs to be different. And yet, a few weeks, maybe a few months go by, and you realize you're right back where you started. It's maddening.
So let's actually give this a name. We can call it the insight-action gap. It's that space between knowing something is true and being able to live that truth out every day. It's where so much of our frustration with personal growth really lives.
Now, here's what's so important about this. When we get stuck in that gap, our minds tend to jump to a pretty harsh conclusion. We tell ourselves, there must be something wrong with me. I'm lazy, or I'm broken, or I just don't have enough discipline. But what if that's not the real story at all? What if the real reason is that the insight, no matter how powerful it was, just was never fully integrated?
Okay, so to really get this, we have to look at the two big players running the show inside of us, our mind and our nervous system. Because this is where that internal split happens, the one that so often grinds change to a halt.
So on one hand, you've got your thinking mind. It's logical, it's brilliant, it can grasp new ideas, it can totally believe an insight is true, and boy does it love to make a plan. But then there's your nervous system, and it is running on a completely different operating system. Its job is to govern all your automatic behaviors. Its number one priority, above all else, is safety, and it reacts based on a deep, deep library of emotional memory. And here's the key. These two parts of you can be in total disagreement, even when you have the absolute best of intentions.
When they do disagree, we experience what we usually call resistance. But let's just pause and reframe that word for a second. Resistance isn't you trying to sabotage yourself. It's an automatic and actually really intelligent protective response. It's your system's way of hitting the brakes and saying, whoa, hold on, this new thing, it feels unfamiliar. And based on my records, unfamiliar could mean danger or loss or just complete overwhelm. It's not sabotage, it's wisdom.
And this brings us to such a crucial point. We don't change by just trying to convince ourselves harder. You can't outthink your nervous system. Real, lasting change only happens when our whole system, our body, our nervous system, feels safe enough to actually agree with the new plan.
So this is where that missing step comes in. We call it integration. You can think of it as the handshake, the peace treaty between your thinking mind and your nervous system. It's the actual process of making an insight not just an idea you hold, but something your whole system can actually live with.
So, to put a really clean definition on it, integration is the process of making an insight feel safe and coherent for your entire system, not just your thinking mind. It acknowledges this vital truth that, something can be absolutely true without being livable, yet.
And you might be wondering, how do I know when something is actually integrated? Well, here's a really good clue. It's not that you feel all excited and hyped up about it. The real sign is much quieter. It's when you realize you've just stopped arguing with it. The internal debate is over. It just feels normal.
So how does this actually work? How does your system update its own internal programming? The answer is all about moving from abstract ideas into a felt, physical experience.
This is so important to get. Your nervous system doesn't really understand abstract concepts like, I deserve to rest. It doesn't speak that language. It speaks the language of sensation, of felt, in the body, present moment experiences. So repeating an affirmation is an abstract idea, but feeling a sense of warmth spread through your chest, now that's an experience. That's data your nervous system can actually use. And the signals that this process is working, they're often really subtle. It's usually not some big dramatic fireworks show. It's more like a sense of settling in your body, a quiet feeling of calm, or maybe wholeness. Sometimes the thought just floats up, oh, this feels like me. You start to notice that constant internal debate just isn't as loud anymore, and that frantic pressure to fix yourself begins to ease up.
Okay, so let's talk about how we can start to practice this. I want to offer a really gentle method, and I want to be clear, this isn't about forcing change. It's more like an invitation, a way to just check in with your system and see if a new idea can land safely.
So here it is. Step 1. Start with a real insight you have, something you know is true but maybe isn't fully happening yet. Like, I need to be kinder to myself. Step 2. Translate that idea into a sensory quality.
So what color is kindness? What's its texture? What temperature is it? Just go with whatever comes to mind. Step 3, gently imagine breathing that quality, that color, that warmth into your body. Just let it come in at its own pace. And step 4, this is the most important part. Just observe what happens. No judgment, no agenda. Just notice.
Now, of course, the big question is, okay, but what if I do that and what I feel is tightness or a big yeah, but thought pops into my head or just a general feeling of nope? What do you do when resistance shows up?
And this is maybe the single biggest shift in perspective we can make. If resistance shows up, the job isn't to push through it. That's the old way of thinking. The new work, the real work, is to slow way down, get curious, and listen. Because that feeling of resistance is so intelligent. It's there for a reason. It's almost always protecting a younger or more vulnerable part of you from something that feels genuinely threatening. Maybe it's protecting you from feeling old pain or from emotional overwhelm. Maybe it's a fear of losing control or just deep, deep exhaustion. It could even be a fear of getting it wrong and failing. That resistance isn't the enemy, it's the map. So as we bring this all together, I want to anchor this new framework in your mind. Think of it as a keystone, the central stone that holds the whole arch together. It's a way to understand change that is so much more compassionate and, frankly, so much more effective.
If you walk away with just one idea today, I hope it's this one. Insight tells you what's true. Integration determines whether it's livable. It's that simple. So if change has felt hard for you, please hear this. It does not mean you're broken. It almost always means something just needs to be integrated, not pushed harder.
So I'll just leave you with a gentle question to reflect on. No pressure to answer it right now, just let it float around. What insight in your own life might be patiently waiting for integration? And finally, if this way of thinking about things resonates with you and you feel curious, the 2 resources you see here explore this same underlying process, just using different language. They're not required reading or anything, just a couple of other doorways into the same room. Thank you so much for your time and attention today.